Hey guys, Nikki here, and today we're back with a painting tutorial and one of my most frequently asked questions on stream, which is, what gold is that? I get a ton of questions on my gold workup, so I wanted to take today to record the full process so you can see the workup. It's kind of my go-to gold. I use this for a lot of projects. I find it's really easy to wash down, highlight up, depending on what type of gold I want for the project. If you like this video, we're doing more tutorials. We also just started our mini basics series, which is really geared for those who may be coming into the hobby for the first time, coming back after a long break, so if you think that would be helpful, make sure to check out that playlist. We also stream over on Twitch if you're looking for a fun community to come hobby with. I'll put that link in the description. Today I threw together a Space Marine. I've got an Ultramarine here, just from an easy build kit. I didn't even put his backpack on, because today we're going to be focusing on the Aquila on his chest. That piece is really good for the gold workup because there's lots of layers kind of on top of each other, and easy to see how those washes and highlights come together. So let's take a look. Let's hop over to the hobby desk. Alright, and we're back at the hobby desk with our Space Marine. For my Ultramarine players, if you like this color, this is McCraig Blue, which is part of their workup, so that is just base coated there. But for our golds, we are going to be starting with Retributor Armor. This is our base paint that we will start to build the workup off of. I also have a wash. Today I'll be using Agrax. You can use a lot of different washes depending on the type of gold that you're going for. So if you want a colder gold, you can look at something like Nuln Oil. You can also do some warmer golds with a Reichland or Seraphim Sepia. You can even mix it up, do a little bit green, a little bit of purple, depending on the type of gold that you're going for. And when I get to my layers, I actually switch over to Scale Color. So the Scale Color is a little bit finer metallic pigments, which I find a lot easier for layering. So this is Elven Gold and Citrine Alchemy. These come in one of their metallic packs, or you can buy them separately. But I will be switching over to these. I also like that they don't separate as much as the Games Workshop, so you really need to make sure that you mix these. You make sure they are mixed properly before you start in. They also come in a dropper bottle, which I very much prefer to the pots, so that is why I go with the Scale Color. But the way that I paint these are much closer to the result that I am looking for. Well, we are going to be starting with our Retributor Armor. So again, like I said, make sure you give it a really good shake to make sure it is mixed properly, but I'm going to open this up. I have also brought in a separate water cup because through Twitch stream, I think I have learned that a lot of people overthin this paint. So let's get our Marine here, and we are going to do a base coat of our Retributor, and I'll show you how I get the consistency that I do. So I'm actually painting, some people will cringe at this, we're going to be painting pretty much from the pot. Basically what I'll do is, here's our water. I will dip my brush in, just a little bit of water, and grab from, it's actually dripping from the top of the lid to get a really nice consistency here. So we want it nice and smooth for our base layer. And again, I'm just going to focus on the Aquila today. So this is our little section we'll be working on. Just kind of moving it around here. I got a little bit too much water, but that's okay. Wings on both sides. A little bit more here. And make sure that this is as smooth as we can get so that when we do our washes, we'll be good to go. Unfortunately, we'll have a few cuts today as we will have some dry time here between this base coat and our wash. So just going over it to make sure everything is covered. We can touch up any armor later on, so I'm not too worried about that. As you can see there, nice, smooth base coat is exactly what we're looking for the Retributor armor. So for now, let's take a quick break and wait for this to dry. And we're back. It's been about 5 minutes or so, but our gold is now dry. So it is time for our wash. Today I am using Agrax, like I mentioned. Whatever wash you decide to go with. Give a really good shake to make sure it's all mixed. The main thing for the wash is I want to make sure that this collects in the recesses and also between our layers here. So we've got the two layers of like the wings. Really want to make sure to get that wash in there to help provide some separation of the layers and really kind of line the details here. So playing this around the different kind of feathers of this wing and letting it collect between the pieces. This is the new version of the Agrax, so they kind of updated everything to go with the contrast paints. For the larger pieces, I find that sometimes you'll have to do a couple coats. For the smaller ones, I think we can do just the ones. We'll do the one, we'll let this dry, and see how we feel. But this is one layer of our Agrax. Yeah, another cut here as we wait for this to dry. We'll be right back. Alright, it's been another 5-ish minutes, And our wash is now dried, so after one layer, that's what we've got, and I think that's going to be great for today. If you wanted to go a little bit darker, you could do another coat at this stage. I'm going to go ahead and move on to our Elven Gold, which I've already put a little bit on our palette. The goal for this is to actually start our layers and our highlights. So what we're going to do is we're going to keep the Retributor and the wash in all of the recesses. And I'm going to use this for all of the higher points and start to pick out some of the feathers as we go. I'm going to get all here in the front, and along the top. And then here is where we're going to be a little careful. We want to get the edges of these feathers, but I don't want to dip into the recess of the layer down. Very top of it. And then this one's a little tricky with the shoulders, but the same thing on the outside of the wings here. You can see there, as I go, I'm leaving that layer of the Retributor and the wash, and you can see how that is building depth. You can see between our shade that we applied and now our new highlights, we are adding a bit more depth. Others here, again, along the top. Edges of all these feathers. As we've done it this way, you can see that layer between the two sections. Pulling that all together. And that is, we're a little out of focus, but let me pull that down here. See the layer there. And then if you like that, you can stop there. If you want a brighter highlight, and I tend to work up to this, is Citrine Alchemy. You can see it's a lot lighter, so this is going to be a pretty strong highlight. Let me go ahead and put some on my palette. Because it is so much brighter, I'm going to be more selective with where I put this. This is going to be where the light is catching it the most. I do think it provides like a really nice contrast with what we've got so far. So I would go ahead and give it a shot, see if that's what you like for your project. But for this, I'm going to hit the very top of the skull, top of these wings here, so you can already see how much brighter that is. And then again, the very, very tips of the wings here. So leaving a little bit of our previous layer. This is just at the very, very edges. Outside as well. And because we've layered our really bright highlight right next to our shade, that'll give us a lot of depth there on the Aquila. Other side, and then we'll have the full workup. Little dots. If you have a larger piece, more of this and building the contrast between the washes, highlights will be really important. But I think for a small example for the gold, I think that's a real spot here to look at that. This is also where if you wanted to kind of blend your layers together, you feel like maybe there's a little bit too much contrast, you can come back and clean it up. So I'll do a little bit along the top here. A little bit of our mid color there. But there is our gold workup. There he is. There's our gold workup. I hope this is helpful. Definitely make sure to play around with different washes, different highlights to find the gold that will work best for your project. If you found this helpful, make sure to like, subscribe, check out the other tutorials here on the channel. We also have that mini basics playlist I mentioned in the beginning if you're someone who's just getting into the hobby or coming back. We also stream over on Twitch, so if you're looking for a community to come hobby with, we'd love to have you there. The link is in the description. For today, thank you so much for checking out the video. We'll catch you next time. Bye-bye!